All right, welcome. I'm Emily Grabatin, author of Dare to Decide, and this is Ginette Armoogan. And we have a conversation for you about daring to change your career, daring to live unhindered, daring to be more than you are right now, because there is so much inside of us. Tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, I work for a Christian anti-sex trafficking organization, and I'm a pastoral care director for that, and also a regional rep for where I live and another region. Um, a little bit more about me besides titles is that really it stems from I believe everyone was made for a purpose, on purpose. And so I love being a cheerleader for people, especially those who felt sidelined in life. And I love being able to offer hope and help to those individuals and just helping them become free in their lives in whatever area that they're needing that transformation in.
I love that. People who've been sidelined and hope, such powerful words. And how many of us have felt sidelined in life? I hear that so often. I don't feel like I fit in, or, no one notices me. I felt invisible for so long. And it was partly my own doing, but it was a revolving cycle, and we start believing it after all. So for you to be
Mhm.
able to see people and notice that they are on the sidelines and have a way to give them hope, that's awesome. So tell us about where it began for you, this shift. How did you get into this?
Well, a couple of years ago, I had resigned from my position at my church as a women's pastor. And I just felt it was time for a change. But that being said, I still lamented over that decision. All my training, my experience, and even my desire about being in ministry with my husband, that was basically felt like my dream had died. And
How
I
long
really,
how long are you invested in that? How long were you in that role?
um, let's say, well, right now it'd be 26 years. So 24 years, like a couple decades at least,
Very
right?
much embedded into your way of life,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
identity, your outlook.
Yeah,
Wow.
everything. And so I honestly could not imagine myself doing anything else.
So
And
you
so
were
I
you were
was,
basically living your dream for the longest time. That
yeah,
was what you had dreamt of doing.
yeah,
You were doing it. Why would you
yeah,
change living your dream? Yeah. So what
yeah.
stirrings were coming after that?
Well, I knew it was time for a change, but I didn't know what that would look like. And I couldn't imagine what that would look like. And so I just kind of sat in that place. I know the Lord was speaking to me saying, just cease striving and know that I'm God. And it's really hard for me to just be still. And so, but that's in the place I was. And my husband at one point said to me, you have an interest in social justice issues. Would you ever consider doing something in that field? And up until that point, there wasn't anything that anybody said that could convince me to even consider anything else. But when he has said that, I decided that I would consider doing something like that. Hmm.
You were considering this while you were in your other position, or were you out of that position before you started considering it?
I was already working, or not working, but volunteering for the organization that I'm working for now. At the time, and still I'm doing that now, is a team leader for one of the outreach teams.
Mm.
So I already had like a connection to them, but it was it was something I did on the side in a sense, right? It
Mhm.
wasn't
Yeah.
my main focus, as much as I enjoyed it. And so when I when I decided to consider it, what I ended up doing was going online and looking for different opportunities, what that would look like. I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I was going to have to go back to school and retrain, not something that I was super thrilled about. But I just figured, okay, well, I'm going to need to do that. And so, in the process of that, I reached out to the only person on staff at Fight for Freedom, just to get her ideas of where I should focus my attention in terms of education,
Mhm.
what I should be looking like, because some things would be just a short certificate to up to like a master's, and that's a pretty big range. So I wanted to have an idea of what to do. And in the process of looking at those things online, I had found some postings from Fight for Freedom for jobs. And so I thought that's really what triggered me to just contact them. I had no intention of, or no like interest in doing those things because I didn't feel that I was prepared. I didn't feel like I qualified necessarily, and just because everything would be so different, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't have all the answers. And that's part of my personality where I feel like I have to know everything and know that I can do a good job as a perfectionist to be able to even step into something new, right? So
Yeah.
I just wanted information so that I would know how to be what I needed to be, right? And in the process of asking her, she said, "Well, would you consider applying for the job?" I'm like I didn't even respond. I felt bad, but I didn't even respond for like a day or so because I was just like, oh my goodness, this wasn't what I was thinking, right? But I didn't feel like I could say no, even though part of me was like, no, like this is too much, too fast, too scary, right? Too different. Um, but in that process, I decided to apply, and yeah, it was uh, it was it was a scary decision,
Mhm.
but yeah, I decided to apply, and things just fell into place quickly.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm on staff. So it's been,
Amazing.
yeah, it
So
actually has been.
tell me, is there a story of someone that you've met, or a transformation of someone living unhindered, or a step towards that that you've been able to witness because you stepped into this role, because you dared to do something new and scary even before you were quite ready?
Well, I've been able to be able to see the different stories of different survivors. How there's been a number that have been able to move forward in their life, starting to get jobs, going back to school, just doing things
Mhm.
different, right? And moving forward. Um, some of them have reconnected with their faith and gotten baptized. Some of them started new businesses. So that's been really, really exciting. And just even um, making connections with people and hearing their stories and being able to offer them hope that things can be different has just been such a highlight for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Such a contrast, and to see step by step them fighting
Hmm.
to live out their own freedom.
Hmm.
So powerful. So
Yeah.
powerful. So what would you say has surprised you, or some of the messy, scary things that maybe had you known ahead of time, you're like, heck no. But you figured it out along the way?
Well, the thing that surprised me was just how it unfolded so much better than I would have imagined,
Mhm.
right? Um, some of the things I had to work out was just my fears and my anxiety from doing something that was completely different from what I'd been used to for decades, and stepping into that, knowing that I didn't have all the answers and there was going to be such a learning curve for me. One of the things, which was why initially I didn't want to consider the position at all, was because all of the staff are 100% self, or not self, but support raised
Right.
salaries. And so the thought of fundraising for my salary
Mhm.
was terrifying. I hated the idea. And right there, I was like, nope, not going to consider it at all. I'm out, you know. But I've got to be honest. If I hadn't of just made that decision to just do that, regardless of my fears, I would not have experienced the fulfilling job that I have now. Like, I have so much job satisfaction that I've never had to this extent before. 2 years ago, to imagine what it is like for me now, I couldn't have imagined how wonderful it's been. My life feels so much more enriched with the people, experiences, and even the responsibilities that I have and continue to have. So it's been such an amazing journey, and it has exceeded my imagination, which is pretty good because I have a vivid imagination. So yeah.
That's amazing. So you read my book, Dare to Decide,
Did.
recently.
Yes, it was awesome.
Tell me how it impacted you. What were some, and you read my book after you made this leap. So
Right.
tell me how it impacted you and what were some of the takeaways?
Yeah, well, it was really a nudge to move forward in some of the other things that I had been toying with, but I just hadn't made a leap to do anything about. There was a few things that I really appreciated from the chapter of just dare to decide. And so one of the things that you said, and I'd written them down, the first one was lean in. And so that's just picturing yourself, how you would feel in that situation, right? And so one of the things that I thought about doing before was just starting a website as a way of kind of holding myself accountable for writing. And so I had just pictured myself, okay, what would that feel like if I actually did it, right? And so I sat with that for a little bit, and I liked it, right? And so then it's just deciding to do something about it. And so I did it, and I told some people, so that way there was an accountability built in there as well, right? Because once you
That was
tell
one of the other
somebody,
steps in there, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you tell somebody, and
Mhm.
so then you've put that accountability in there, and then I even had like a deadline in a sense, because one of the people was saying, okay, well, you need to have it done by this specific time, because then I'm going to let other people know that it's out there, right? So so I was working fast and furiously. And one of the things too that I took from it is just moving forward, right? You don't have to have everything figured out. And so I adopted the mantra, done is better than perfect, because even though I didn't have it all figured out of how I want it to look, or even the direction necessarily that I want to take it, I started somewhere, and I just needed to take a step and do something, right? And so then the third thing was just releasing, and just releasing the way life was before, or how you were before. And so, and just embracing the fact that you're going to be learning and growing. And so it's been exciting, and it's been fun just being able to have some sort of creative outlet to try to figure things out, try my hand at different writing things, even putting up some pictures that I like, just making it unique and different. That's to me. So it's a work in progress, but there is progress. So I'm thankful for that. And the thing that really encouraged me too, you had said it near the end of the book, and it was, just want to read it first. 2 Peter 1:3. Everything we could ever need for life in godliness has already been deposited in us by his divine power. And that was such an encouraging story that you had referenced in your book. And that verse itself just helped me to realize that so oftentimes I don't do things because I feel inadequate. I feel like I don't have it all together, and I don't feel like I have all the information that I need. But really, that verse is telling us that everything that we really do need, God's given that to us already. And so that was really comforting for me to just take a leap of faith and decide to do things, because I may not have all this other kind of knowledge or skills that I think I need, but what I really need, I already have. And so to just go from there.
So good. Yep, that's exactly what inspired me. Time and time again, looking
Mhm,
at today, because so easily we're compelled to compare, look at, well, they have this, this, and this. And
mhm,
that question, that verse always brings me back to say, no, what do I have already? Oh
mhm,
yeah, I have all of these things. And once in a while, even this last week, just feeling prompted to start making lists. What is it that I have within
mhm,
me to give? What experiences, what skills, what passions, what empathy, what connections do I have? And just start listing them all. I'm like, oh, I have more than I thought. What can I do with what I have?
mhm,
And
mhm.
that is so empowering
It is.
to realize that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many good things here. So if someone is listening and they are thinking of it's time for a change, time for a new career, time to start that dream, time to just realize it's time to step into something new,
Mhm.
what important thing could you say to them? What's the one takeaway you would want them to walk away with today?
Just decide to take a step forward, and realize that on the other side of that yes could be their dream job. It could be their new best friend. It could be longings fulfilled. It could be a new pastime, or I don't know, like all kinds of things, just the unknown, but a good unknown, to waiting to be discovered, a new adventure. So just take just take that initial step. Don't worry about having to have everything figured out and what it is going to look like all in the end. Just concentrate on that first step, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Jeanette, so much for sharing your story. If you are interested in following her, checking out to see what she did with her website, or reaching out to her, you can find her at lifeunhindered.ca, and also Fight for Freedom. So that's fight, the number four, freedom.ca. And that's where you can find out more about her, as well as the cause, the social justice mission that she is a part of. So thanks. Let us know in the comments, what was your takeaway from today? What was the one thing that resonated with you that you want to remember or just go out and do today for your own dare? Thanks for watching. Bye.